I think the first time I heard the Carter Family was on the radio at night when I was very small. The simplicity of deliverance and the performance in those songs was like my life, you know. Things were pretty cut and dried, black and white, straight ahead. And that's the way the Carter Family came at you right in the face, you know, and it felt good.
My dad, he was a collector, I guess you'd say, of songs. He'd find parts of it and finish up maybe enough to make a song out of it.
Those were songs that came over, you know, from the old world. The Carter Family did such a wonderful job of bringing these to the forefront and doing them in a way that people understood, and just to show how these wonderful songs can live forever for hundreds and thousands of years.
There was a great influence of the songs that might have come from Ireland, England, and Scotland with those people that came into southwestern Virginia. They would get little pieces of songs, but then there would be songs that they wrote.
It was on a day when soldiers wrote the line to those they loved, to mothers, wives, and sweethearts far away. When a fair-haired boy sat dreaming of a far-off southern town, of a dark-eyed maid who's waiting day by day. While the band is playing Dixie, I'm humming home, sweet home.
There is something about the imagery of the Carter Family, the old-time music, that I still find very moving. The songs of the Carter Family, there's a poignancy there. It's so heartbreaking. The simplicity of what they write about. I don't know whether we've lost the ability to capture that. I think as a genre, maybe we have.
They were on a station in Texas. Their theme song was Keep on the Sunny Side, and they sang it like a funeral dirge or something. Keep on the sunny side. And I thought, why don't they sing it fast and sing it happy? And then this bass singer would come in, he'd sing a few lines, and then he'd drop out, which was AP, of course.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side.
I said, boy, that's exactly like we used to sing sitting around the house at home. You sing hymns and things.
As long as I can remember, back as a youngster, age 5, 6 even, when I was first interested in the old country records, some of my very favorites were the Carter Family recordings.
I sell the morning paper, sir. My name is Jimmy Brown. Everybody knows I am the newsboy of the town. You'll hear me yelling a morning star as I run along the street. I have no hat upon my head, no shoes upon my feet. I have no hat upon my head, no shoes upon my feet.
Uncle A.P., he would sell fruit trees, or he would have an old sawmill somewhere. That was a big priority in his life. He loved music, but the two who really loved to sing and to play music, I think, was Mother and Aunt Sarah. And they would play for fun.
Maybelle played a style that's easy to play, but it was original, I guess. She just played melody on the bass strings, and rhythm with her finger, and the Wildwood Flower, you know, is like the national anthem of country music.
Mother Maybelle was the one that I wanted to learn to pick my guitar like. And I learned every one of her songs and every one of Jimmie Rodgers' songs, knew all of those. But Mother Maybelle was my favorite.
Mother Maybelle invented this style of playing called the Carter Scratch, which was kind of your thumb and your fingernails kind of scratching on the strings. I learned how to play guitar, and like thousands of my friends, it was the first thing we learned. It was this beautiful melodic way of sort of playing lead and rhythm at the same time. And that influenced every guitar player I ever met.
What she played was accessible. When you heard her play the guitar, it was something a person could do, and it sounded good, and she could do it. And it was a magical thing. Working with her was like working with an angel in attitude and delivery.
I started back when I was a kid. I used to play 5-string banjo. In fact, I started playing the auto harp before I could remember, to tell you the truth. And then I started playing 5-string banjo, and I took up guitar when I was 13 years old.
I met Maybelle Carter about 1948, I guess it was, in Knoxville, Tennessee. She was 39 years old, and they gave me a job, Maybelle and the Carter Girls, and kind of saved my life. I needed work at that time. She played a little tune I liked where she did a lick. You Are My Flower. And so I wrote a tune about Maybelle, and I loved her so much and still miss her. Play it for us? Yeah, it's called Maybelle.
It took a long, long time for people to realize what they were doing and to put any value on their songs. And you get to looking back, the roots is what you have to keep alive and keep it going. If you let the roots die, there ain't nothing going to happen. It's gone.